The Square Ball Podcast.
And we're off. Welcome to the show. It's brought to you in association with Levi Solicitors, our favourite law firm in Leeds, aren't they, Michael?
They're my favourite.
Why do you like them?
Mainly because they pay to sponsor this podcast, but also because of the great services they offer, such as wills, probate and conveyancing.
Would you say you probably like the services more than just the fact that they sponsor this? You'd be going there anyway, wouldn't you? Really?
I would anyway, yeah. Particularly because I can't think of any others.
Yeah.
Even if you listen to this podcast, you probably can't think of any others either.
Which is the idea of it all, isn't it, really?
You've got no choice. But they are good too. So
whether you want to do a will, you need some probating.
Probating, yeah.
Conveyance.
Careful where you do it, but it's up to you.
Got a bit of conveyance that you're needing. Conveyancing.
Mm-hmm. You want your powers of attorney to last? Speak to them about that.
Yeah. You're having a dispute with someone and you need it resolved.
Mm-hmm.
Go to those guys. And they do commercial property, don't they, as well? Yeah.
That's in the legal side of it. They don't sell it.
Of course, yeah.
Get a discount too.
What, 10% discount on your legal fees? Mm-hmm. How'd you get that?
LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the square ball.
Even after all this time, you still can't quite. Can't quite.
Smooth as anything.
Right.
That was like Peter Sissons.
Peter Sissons.
It's nice to have your heroes, isn't it?
I was trying to think of an old pro who would deliver a line well. Anyway.
Well, thank you.
I was going to go Hugh Edwards, but there was that controversy and I couldn't remember how that ended.
Yeah.
So I went Peter Sissons.
Shamed BBC. No, he's not shamed. What he does in his private time is entirely up to him. But I think we feel like we're getting waylaid from the
Probably,
whole... Yeah. So anyway, Rob's here. So welcome along, Rob, to this well-executed podcast.
Who's your favourite newsreader?
Christian Guru Murphy, I'll go with.
Yeah, he's good, actually.
Yeah.
Got a bit of personality, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Angela Rippon.
Before my time.
Yeah, and mine. But she was good.
Yeah, apparently so.
So, speaking of the BBC, we're on BBC One. Have you seen that? For the FA Cup replay against Plymouth. I mean, you thought you didn't really care all that much about the first leg. Fair play to them for doubling down on it.
I mean, were there no better replays?
I was wondering that.
So just for the benefit of anybody who's outside this country, it's on BBC One, which is the main free-to-air national broadcaster.
It's Channel 1.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
On button 1, yeah. Prime time on Tuesday we're playing.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, even I don't want to watch it. So why would anyone else?
I'm still on board for this Wembley trip. Or at least the trip to Villa Park / Stamford Bridge where we lose.
We'd beat Chelsea, they're rubbish.
Yeah, maybe. But they have got about 200 players, so they can afford to have a fair bit of rotation. Whereas if we go in for the full rotation, we're going to have actual children playing, aren't we?
It would be our under-18s team, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be a similar team to the home game, I imagine, won't it?
Yeah.
A fair few rested, but still strong enough to probably win, maybe win.
Why are we on BBC One?
I don't know. It's a big deal, isn't it?
We'll have to ask Johnny Buck, and he works for the BBC. I'm sure he gets the inside line and all this stuff. He'll know.
Yeah, because it's not exactly a potential shock or anything, is it? It's just two championship teams.
Yeah. I'm confused.
The magic of the cup.
Yeah. Yeah. What about the magic of the transfer window then? You having fun this time? So we're recording. We should timestamp it just in case. But it's 12:15 on Wednesday lunchtime, and nothing's happened. Our biggest signing of the window so far is Stuart Downing,
which I'm pleased with. He's doing well.
Yep.
Could do maybe a defensive signing for that for the under-21s coaches, but yeah, we just let players go, haven't we, so far?
Yes.
Just trimming the fat.
Charlie Cresswell's staying, though.
Yeah.
Because he's been a good boy.
And we've had a word, and he said he's sorry.
Do you know what I think they might have done? They might use Levi Solicitors dispute resolution services.
Maybe so.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe so. Or just told his mum on him. Something like that.
But it's not quite the all singing, all dancing, exciting affair that Sky Sports would lead you to believe, is it, the old transfer window? I think the more time we've spent around Phil, the more he's conditioned us, or conditioned me anyway, to think that it's just a lot of nonsense and it's tiresome.
It is a load of bollocks. And I feel like January is kind of like this a lot. Like it gets built up a lot and then nothing happens and you might get like an hour at the end where people go a little bit desperate and crazy. But I did enjoy was it this Sunday when we were linked with that Japanese right back whose name I can't remember because I'd never heard of him before.
We were linked with him for literally hours, weren't we?
Yeah, well, I was out for dinner and someone looked at the phone and told me, "Oh, we're signing this right back." I was like, "Okay, cool."
That sounds very grown up and posh. Where did you go?
Yeah, I was in Boston Spa, that is posh, isn't it?
Must be nice.
Bloody hell.
I mean, I wasn't paying, so.
Fair enough.
But yeah, by the time I got home, I looked
Did you
at
just do a runner or did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, by the time I got home, I looked at who this right back actually is. And he was like, "Oh, no, we're not actually signing him. So it doesn't matter." But
I'll go see who this Luton right back is.
yeah, I did see that his brother, he's got an older brother who's also a right back. So maybe we should just sign him. He got in the Singapore team of the year twice. And if he doesn't fancy it, they've got a cousin who's a long jumper. So get him in the team, maybe.
It's all like the Nevilles, in a way.
Yeah.
Like a fullback brothers, general sporty family.
Tracy Neville did was it netball or hockey?
Netball,
or something?
yeah, netball.
Yeah.
Neville. Don't know.
He's got a good name, hasn't he?
Good name.
Well, sadly no longer with us, so let's not go there.
Still, that's a good name.
It's the best name.
And easy for the stonemason. Just put it twice. Easy to remember.
Yeah, you would have to double check.
Do that
wouldn't you?
sign where it's like just the same underneath.
Yeah, well, the ditto,
Yeah.
the ditto marks. Yeah, but again, we've gone off message again, haven't we? Do you want a right back?
Or a left back.
Yeah,
I think I'd probably still rather have a left back.
really.
Yeah, because Sam Byram can be a right back.
Yeah,
And Shackleton's all right as a right back. Archie Gray's all right as a right back. Whereas actual left backs, we've got one still.
why don't we? Well, Sam Byram is now a left back, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but he can play right back.
Yeah,
I still believe him to be a right back because my opinions have not changed in 10 years.
Yeah.
That's where he played before.
You're fully embedded now.
Correct.
As you hurtle towards middle age. Right.
I think I'd like a right back just so Archie Gray can play midfield as well.
Yeah. I'd take either.
Well, yeah.
I would.
That's
I
fine.
think either gives us flexibility to move people around.
About both.
You're a dreamer.
Really are.
Is that too much? Am I setting my sights too high?
You've been on that crack again.
Yeah, I've been on the whacky backy.
Wow.
Yeah, just sign a right back.
I mean, we keep being linked with the same people, don't we? Just Welsh fullbacks.
Yeah, Ben
But it's not
Godfrey's
happening.
another one that Football Insider is like desperate to push. I don't really know if there's any truth in that at all.
He can play anywhere across the back four, can't he? So maybe he's a useful signing, utility man. But he did play for Everton on Tuesday. Am I right in thinking?
Probably not him then.
I think we've got to that stage of the window where people are just looking down a list of players who have played under Daniel Farker. Going, oh,
Yeah.
he could play right back maybe. Let's just say him.
Yeah, we might end up signing Tim Krul or something. might be the only thing we end up doing. The only bit of business that happens.
Well, in terms of bits of business, Yelda's gone to Sunderland, somewhere in the region of £1.5–2 million. Not the next Van Dijk, or if he is, he's not going to be the next Van Dijk for us.
Is that a profit?
I think so.
I mean,
yeah.
probably not once you factor in all the wages we paid and whatnot. But yeah, it's not really panned out, has it?
No, having said that, I think with him leaving, Junior Firpo is like the only proper left back in the first team squad and under 21s. But yeah, it's not really happened. I think it was very telling a couple of months ago when Hjelde returned from injury and Farker got asked in a presser like, "Oh, is he going to be in contention to play left back?" And Farker said, "Nah, not really."
We're going to look at other people
Anyone.
for that position.
Yeah, he didn't look good in the League Cup game right at the start of the season, like a rabbit in the headlights.
Oh, the opening league game of the season.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Taken off at half time in both, wasn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't a good start. It's one of those that because he did well for Rotherham in the same division, so you think, how can he not do well for us?
Liam Cooper as well was linked with interest from Blackburn, which is a little bit of a strange one. I mean, I think we've all fully accepted he's probably going to leave in the summer.
Yeah, you would imagine so, but it makes absolutely no sense to sell him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought.
We're going to do some bits on Liam Cooper actually for members on the members show coming out in the next week or so, something like that. About his possible testimonial, but yeah, he's going, isn't he, in the summer?
Yeah, but not now.
Yeah, it makes
Why
sense
would
to
we?
keep him around now, especially when like a character like Aylin's left. We need some leaders in there, even if they're not playing. And Cooper seems pretty happy, like even if he's in and out of the side. And he's been all right this season, hasn't he? Really?
Yeah, yes. I'm perfectly happy with him as a backup this season. He seems like a safe pair of hands, safe-ish pair of hands from the bench. So
Yeah.
and yeah, he knows the club. We'll say that much.
Yeah, does he feel like a good option this season because you know he's going? Like, does it feel like his race is run at Leeds?
Well, I think it just feels like he's.
I mean, like if we go up, for example, it doesn't feel like he fits in, does it? And again, we're getting ahead of ourselves by thinking about what ifs when we go up. If we stay down, though, given that he's been a backup player this season, do you then want to move on from him? Because I suspect he's on pretty big wages.
Yeah, he will be because he's got a
Premier League contract.
Yeah. In here, and
he'll be on half of that, won't he?
Yeah, which is still probably fine, isn't it?
Still more than we're getting, isn't it?
So, although Rob having his dinner in Boston Spa, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what he's up to? But yeah, it feels like this is his last season. But
It's me, Coops.
He's very much dropped into being the backup now, hasn't he? And I think he's more than adequate for that. So
he's in that alien position as well, where you just sort of think it's up to you. Like, you don't always know. If you're happy hanging around for another 6 months, great. If not, okay. But it seems like he's happy enough.
Yeah, you can imagine him being a championship regular next season for somebody, can't you?
yeah, he's definitely good enough for someone at this level. Just maybe not necessarily as a starter for a team aiming to be automatically promoted
with lofty ambitions. Did you see that it was Rob Tanner, who is Phil's colleague at The Athletic, who I think he tweeted, it was on Wednesday morning, about the Leicester fans. So despite yet another victory last night for Leicester City, there was also some frustration in the crowd and on the touchline. Maresca may feel not all the fans are behind his idea, and there is clearly some frustration at a lack of transfer business. They're on 69 points with 17 games to play.
Oh, it could all go, though. It could all ebb away so quickly. We've established that he's a bold fraud.
Yeah.
Has Dewsbury Hall left, or is he leaving?
I think he scored last night, didn't he?
A farewell goal. It's a farewell goal.
Whatever.
It does show that I feel like just nobody's happy in football.
No.
It does make me question, like, why does anyone do this? Because you can be winning the league and absolutely running away with it. You can be Man City winning every trophy going. You can be having quite a fun season at Leeds, which I think we're doing. And everyone just goes, oh, shit this.
I think the only happy bit we've had was probably from, was it when we beat Fulham in the Bielsa first Premier League season? I think we beat Fulham like early in the year and everyone was like, oh, we're going to be fine here. I think it got us to like 32 points or something. That bit to the end of the season, I think, was quite nice. Yeah. The rest of the previous like 20 odd years have just been really horrible.
Well, it's always tied up in anxiety, isn't it? Like, so if you're at the top end of this division, you're anxious about getting back up because you know it's no sustainable to stay at this level. And then when you're up there, you get anxious about staying up because the alternative is being down here. And then if you get into mid-table, you're basically always looking over your shoulder anyway, if you're in the other 14. And then if you get up towards the European places, you're not happy because you're not in the Champions League. And if you're up in the top 4, you're not happy because you're not top. So it's a miserable business, Rob.
I don't think Leicester have any reason to be anxious though right now.
No, not at all.
And likewise with Leeds fans, I think you do sort of sense a slight dissatisfaction sometimes, certainly on social media, but that's social media, I guess. But you think like everyone's going, oh, the Premier League shit, this is loads better. I don't want to be in the Premier League. And then everyone's going, oh, what if we don't get promoted? What's going to happen? You think, well, I don't know. Like, but it's fun, isn't it?
It is true. I'm having a lot more fun this season watching us pursuing the top because it's nice to be near the top, isn't it? And win most games and look like you're comfortably better than just about everybody you play. But I also don't want to go up. I'd quite happily have, as Moscow said before, and at the time when he said it, I kind of laughed and dismissed it as a whimsical idea. But it's true. I'd quite like to win the championship every year, but never go up.
Maybe the best alternative is to go up, deliberately sack it off for a year, actually just put the kids in to get deliberately relegated again, having saved up your Premier League money. Then you can go really strong for your next championship campaign. Which
isn't that what Norwich did basically?
Yeah, but I'm saying go even more so. Right. Sell all your good players.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like that might not be the most enjoyable season.
It's fine though. You can just get drunk for a year. They can maybe make season tickets free or something with the subsidised Premier League money.
I can imagine they do that. Yeah,
it's an easy route.
Yeah. You need to have a word with Angus Kinnear.
I mean,
put this to him.
You'd like to think the 49ers might have a plan to actually stay up there, but
yeah,
there's an alternative. Is what I'm saying. Did you see Sheffield Wednesday have got their season ticket renewals out? Which
already
feels very very Batesy, doesn't it? Getting them out in January.
Yeah, because they need the cash.
Yeah, I think the cheapest. I think is $450 on early renewal, and I think some of them are up to like £750 for what's probably going to be League One.
Yeah, hope so.
Oh well.
That's half-empty stadium all the time, isn't it? But it's the alternative reality that we stayed at for long enough, so we laugh at it, but we're fully familiar with it, aren't we? just on the 49ers and the ownership and stuff like that, that's one of the accusations that gets levelled. If we don't do any business in January, people will say we're skint. So I'd like to know, I'd be interested to know whether we do have spare cash or whether it's like financial fair play, PNS pressure, or it's Farker not wanting players, or some combination of all three. I would be interested to know that.
Farker keeps mentioning the financial fair play pressure, and it feels like Leeds have been kind of just been desperate for a team to just loan them a player all January. Because as much as there has been noise that Farker's very particular about who he's signing, he is the one in the press conference saying, could do with a couple of players, and you do wonder, like, surely there's got to be some players out there that we can sign. It's strange. And you do feel like we are repeating previous mistakes of previous Januaries where you're in a good position, but you don't build on it. Albeit then, if you think of back to the promotion season under Bielsa, we signed John Kevin Augustin. Was that the only one?
Yeah.
And didn't play him, and it was fine. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. If we don't add anybody, I'm pretty sure on the balance of probabilities we will be fine. But what you don't want to do is get into that situation where both Byram and Firpo are injured and we have no actual recognised left back for another 3 or 4 games. Not that it will necessarily impact the overall shape of the season, but it's the opposite of marginal gains, isn't it? It's marginal losses. If you diminish your left back position by 5-10% for 3 or 4 games, what impact could it have overall? Do you miss out on 3 points and it turns it into a draw because of a mistake, down to that, the positioning of whoever it is that stands in at left back? Just those little things can impact the overall shape of a season.
Yeah, I mean, assuming we are still aiming for the top 2, it's going to be tight, isn't it? If we get it, which is a bit of a long shot still, given where Ipswich and Southampton are positioned. It's going to be by a point or 2, isn't it? We're certainly not going to romp it. But equally, if we had just playoff ambitions at this stage, you'd go, all right, we'll relax a bit. Almost doesn't matter. But if we're saying we are pushing for it still, I think it probably does need a bit of strength.
Described it when I was talking to Phil as a form of insurance, and it feels like it's like if you don't get the insurance most of the time, if you get your holiday insurance, for example, when you're going abroad, you barely ever need it most of the time. But the one time that you do need it,
it feels like we're fairly well covered in certain positions now, like in terms of the insurance. Because wingers, you can go, all right, fine. If someone gets injured, there's leeway here. If Bamford gets injured, we've got Pirro to come in. There are good players in backups, but fullback is one where you look at and you go, yeah, there's not an awful lot there anymore. And
it would be a weird look to go into January. Well, come out of January with a weaker or at least smaller squad than what we went into January with. It doesn't really add up, does it? I don't think.
And we must have leeway on the wages because, I mean, assuming we were paying a good chunk of Spence, Ayling will have been on decent money still. Yelder, we've got a fee in, and he'll have been on. I think he got a Premier League contract renewal as well. So, admittedly, there'll be the drops, but there's probably at least 60, 70 grand a week being saved across all the players that have gone out. So
yeah, definitely.
You would think there must be some. If the scope to have those players within the squad at the start of the year, surely there is now some headroom for a bit of extra in there now.
That's what I looked at. All the activity that we've done in terms of moving players out does look to me like a bit of headroom. They're trying to create a bit of headroom.
And if you can get rid of players who are peripheral like Ayling and Yelder to bring in someone who's going to, even if they're going to make 10 appearances this season, it's worth doing, I suppose. But until we see that player, we've just lost some fullbacks as it stands.
I'll tell you who's lost things. Hey, Jesse can't drive, can he? Not allowed. Naughty boy.
No one can drive. Maybe this is why Bielsa walked everywhere. Just be safe.
Yeah. It does say a lot of, I don't know why, it feels like it implies something about that team that bloody Rasmus and Aronson and Jesse have all been in trouble for bad driving in the last few weeks.
I'm sort of surprised McKennie's not been up for anything. Feels like he'd be an obvious one to just be driving recklessly.
What, Serie A?
Without
Juventus
insurance.
Serie A Player of the Year. Funny old game, isn't it?
Yeah, but no, I'm quite pleased Jesse's been banned. It probably keeps him out of the country for a bit. Gives him less incentive to come back, doesn't it?
Are you suggesting he's on the run?
So he's gone to Italy.
I think he was only going at that speed because he was evading the police because he had a body in the boot.
Right.
No proof of it, but it's just a theory I'm working on.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, it didn't really.
No,
to be clear.
I would clear that up. Yeah. Have you watched his masterclass yet, Rob?
No.
Are you going to do?
There's been a couple of times where it's come up on YouTube and I've sort of hovered over it and I just think, why would I bother? I just know it's going to annoy me. And with a lot of his interviews recently, I keep thinking, oh, should I listen to it just to maybe laugh at him? And I just think, nah, life's just easy without doing that.
I watched it, but on double speed on YouTube to get through it.
I watched it at 1x speed and enjoyed every minute.
Got through it in about 11 minutes, I think, watching it double speed. Yeah, Jesse, if anyone doesn't know, he was going 67 in a 50.
Oh,
It was so close,
right.
as he said about Gakpo. So close to the speed limit. In one of those, it was a temporary 50 zone.
Yeah.
Absolutely zero awareness.
Yes.
Self or otherwise.
Didn't even turn up to Bradford Magistrates Court, did he? Because I could have popped down and seen him.
That'd have been nice.
I've been there myself and on my way around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that private parking company took me to court.
Ah, okay.
Guess who won?
That was a righteous victory, though, wasn't it?
Fully Perry Masoned them. It was brilliant.
Didn't they just not turn up?
Yeah, they didn't turn up. But they didn't turn up because of my excellent defence,
Fair enough.
which ran to about 11 pages. So I think I just bored them into submission.
Nice.
It's like, oh, we're not going to deal with this idiot. Anyway, Heckingbottom can't drive either, can he? He's been in bother.
Yep.
57 in a 50, so not quite as bad as Jesse, but not far off.
He should know better, though. Should Paul? He knows that he's always been on these roads.
Yeah.
He knows the roads.
He knows the roads. He knows the roads. He knows the rules.
And the important detail is that his case in court was that he should retain his license, because you can in some circumstances, even if you eat up your 12 points that you're allowed, you can plead to keep your license. Because I think it happened to one of my mates actually. He said, I absolutely need my license for work, and he got up to 12 points and kept his license.
I know someone who did that as well.
He had to pay a massive fine, but wasn't having it. He got banned for 6 months. Said the decision will prevent me from finding another job in football. That's what it'll be. Being without car.
Oh, your record. No, he did get him up, didn't he, in fairness? So he probably would get another job. But, 12 points is a fair bit of leeway, isn't it, I think? I don't have any. Do you?
Yes.
Disgusting.
But we won't get into that.
Was that a court victory you lost?
No.
A court victory you don't want to talk
There
about?
was no court. I opted not to go to court. I accepted the fixed penalty. Anyway, talk about Heckingbottom being a bad driver, not me.
I did a speed awareness course.
Yeah.
And now I'm more aware.
Nice.
So that's good.
Have you transgressed since?
Nope. Been a very good boy.
The Square Ball Podcast.